Hi and welcome to Watch the Time and my initial review of the Casio GX56 BB, also known as the King G-Shock. This is one badass, big ass watch. I've got a couple of other G-Shocks for you for comparison, and that is the standard square G-Shock. Apologies for the injury to the thumb. So that's the standard G-Shock, but it is the blacked out version, negative display as well, so that gives you a kind of a size, and we'll put all these on the wrist shortly to give you an idea of the size. And this is the carbon core G-Shock, quite a big G-Shock this one, but it just pales into significance compared to this thing. So this is the stealthy negative display blackout version, which I really like in the G-Shocks. I've had a couple of blackout versions. I've currently got that one, which is the tough solar, atomic and all that. This one is tough solar but not atomic, but I haven't got a problem with that because the battery life is more important to me than the atomic, because these keep time fantastically well anyway. I think they're plus or minus 15 seconds a month at worst. So you know, you're talking a super accurate watch anyway, so the lack of atomic timekeeping isn't a problem to me. I like to have one in my collection that's atomic, but the fact that this one is solar is more important. So we haven't got to worry about battery life, which means you can have the light set to 3 seconds as opposed to 1.5 seconds. This does have the auto light feature where you just tilt it up and it comes on. It's also got a power save function, so at night time, after about 10 o'clock at night, if it's inactive and in the dark, it will actually switch off the display and go into power save mode. That's very easy to wake up. You just give it a little bit of love, and it will, you know, fire up straight away. So as I said, the light can stay on for 1.5 or 3 seconds. That's a changeable setting. The negative display does is a bit of a Marmite thing with people. Some people like it, some don't. I really like it. The brighter it is outside, the more legible the watch is. The only conditions when this is not that great is in like dusk time or indoors if it's a bit dark, but then you just flick the light on and all is well. So I haven't got a problem with that. This has got the usual Casio sort of functions. You've got a snooze function, an alarm function, a hourly signal function, a countdown timer, a stopwatch. There's an indicator there showing you the solar charge level, and from my experience with solar watches, specifically this G-Shock, you just don't have to worry about them. You know, if you wear them all the time outside, it's fine. This one doesn't get worn an awful lot because obviously I've got so many watches, but even then it's still absolutely fine. It never goes sort of onto low charge. I've never had it go into this sort of mode where it goes to sleep and some of the functions are disabled. I've never had that happen. So all the usual modes. Obviously the main thing about this watch is its size and its chunkiness. I mean, this is, you know, really is a G-Shock on steroids. It is absolutely massive. Huge buttons. So we've got the mud resist buttons from like the Mud Masters and things like that. And it's got this sort of like outer casing, and just in the light there as it's catching it, you can see the solar panel around the edge. Very efficient, the solar panels on these, and they're nicely integrated, and there you can see that panel kind of just blends in when you get to there. You can see it's got this sort of big sort of spongy stuff around the inside, making it, I think, more shock resistant than a standard G-Shock. Again, we'll just do a comparison with the dimensions to my standard G-Shock. I mean, it's just unbelievable how big this thing is. But you can see the DNA of the two watches there. It's just like a, you know, a massive version of the square G-Shock, which is great. It's fun. It's almost like a comedy watch, to be honest. The strap is great. It's really nice and comfortable. The massive buckle on here, with like proper Phillips screws holding the pin in and stuff. It is just a monstrous watch. Now, who's this watch for? Well, there's two ways you can look at this. I mean, this is also a movie watch. This was in Simon Pegg wore this in. He's like the analyst guy in Mission Impossible. I think it's Ghost Protocol. He wore one of these, and so you know, it's also a movie icon, really. But yeah, you can sort of, if you've got a smaller wrist or an average size wrist, this watch is going to look massive. I mean, my wrist is about just over 7 inches, about 7.25 inches, and I can wear a G-Shock is absolutely fine. It's actually quite small on the wrist. The bigger G-Shocks, like the carbon core one over there, is absolutely fine on my wrist. It's a big watch, but it sits okay. This thing is just massive on my wrist, and if that's what you want for like almost like comedy value, then that's fine. But if you want to wear this as a serious watch and as a daily wear, you really need, I suspect, a wrist in excess of 7.5 inches. I would say that's the absolute minimum for this to actually look normal. I'll just pop the normal G-Shock on my wrist first, just to give you a baseline. So that's the standard G-Shock first. Really comfortable, wears really nice, lightweight, which that is actually quite lightweight as well, but obviously not as lightweight as this. Got a combi bracelet on this, absolutely fantastic watch. I'm going to do an update review on this, a long-term review, because I've added the ball bars and I've sort of used this quite a lot now, so I can really do a full-on review on this watch now. So we're going to go a step up in size. There's the carbon core. Again, really comfortable, conforms beautifully to the wrist. This is like made for me, this one. Absolutely super comfortable, lightweight, again, massive buttons, really great. I really like this watch. This was never intended to stay in the collection. This was going to be a seller, but this is staying. It's so comfortable. And next, okay, so are you ready for the silliness? Dun, dun, dun. There you go. I mean, look at it. It's humongous. It actually, if I try and wear it back, I just don't like it. If I try and wear it forward, it hits my hand here. It's just a monster of a watch. But I still like it. It's a G-Shock at the end of the day, and I still think it's an absolutely fantastic watch. Am I going to keep it? I have no intention of keeping this whatsoever, because I know my limits when it comes to watch sizes, and this is beyond it. I mean, it just doesn't sit right on my wrist. As I say, my wrist is about 7.25, so you are really looking at at least a 7.5 inch wrist for this one. Otherwise, it is going to look like this. I mean, if you want to wear a watch like this, absolutely fine. I haven't got a problem with it. I might even keep it for a little while just to have a bit of a laugh with it, kind of thing. You never know, I might change my mind, but it's really way too big for me. But it is a good, well-featured, functional Casio G-Shock, and you can't deny that. Obviously, you've got your 200 meters of water resistance. It's a go anywhere, do anything watch. You can't beat them, and I would never be without a G-Shock in my collection. And I say my choice is this, the 5600. Absolutely fantastic, and I do like the sort of the blacked out versions. But just look at this; it's just monstrous, but absolutely fantastic. I would 100% recommend it, and go for it. These hold their value pretty well, so if you do buy one, you can always get your money back. They're not particularly expensive watches. I'm going to put a link in the description. I think you can pick them up on Amazon at the moment for about 100 quid. So there you go. If you want to give it a go, I'd say have a go, experience it, and you never know, you might be a King G-Shock owner forever. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.